Hi. Welcome to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Mayer, and this show's for you if you're done with cookie cutter marketing and ready to build your personal brand in alignment with who you really are. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the Human Design for Marketing podcast with your host, Yvette Mayer. Hi! So excited to be back in your ears, and my apologies. It's been a couple of weeks. I did get out in front before my incredible trip to India, but I've been back almost 2 weeks now, and it's just taken me a beat to find my feet again and get over the jet lag. From Australia, the time difference is only about 4.5 hours. But I don't know about you, I really struggle, especially that direction, India back to Sydney felt hard. So it took me the better part of a week. And then this week I've been all the way back in, but just lots going on after so much time out of the business. But on that topic, before I get into what I'm going to share today, which I know you'll love, in the last episode, I spoke to you about building a business that gives you freedom. And I shared my own journey with taking time out as my dad passed and going through that whole episode, which was really difficult. And gratefully, I was able to kind of take a step back and really not be in my work for a few weeks. And after that, having the realization that what felt really good during that period was that there were passive sales coming in for products that I'd released months before that were coming in via, I think, Instagram without me being online at all. And that at that time, I had a conversation with my team and hatched a little plan. It was actually a goal, and it became a plan of what if we really doubled down on this area of the business and were able to 10 times that. And I wasn't talking about, honestly, I wasn't talking about being able to 10 times it by the time I went away, because there was only 3 weeks in between me coming back to work after Dad's funeral and all that. Oh, and then I had COVID, that's right. And then there was only 3 weeks until I flew out for India. And so I wasn't thinking, oh my God, we can 10 times this that quickly. But as I recorded the last episode, I shared with you that I was feeling quite optimistic. Update. I can hardly believe it, but we did indeed bring in over 10 times the amount of revenue from these passive products whilst I was in India. Now, that wasn't because of what had already been built beforehand. In that period in between, I released a couple of new ways or new products that went off. So one was our 64 Cosmic Content Codes Guide, which is the guide to every single gate through a marketing lens and its application in your marketing. This guide is incredible. I think we're up to 80 sales, 80. And it's been, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks now. It's blown my mind. And by the way, if you don't have it yet, you definitely need it. And there is even a beautiful coupon code in the episode description for you. So go and check that out after you finish listening. So that was one product that's been a huge success for us. And then the next one was getting our automated human design for marketing reports set up, and also being able to share them beyond what is available within the bodygraph software. I know this is gobbledygook if you're not running a human design business, but for those that are, and I know many of you listen to this show, we figured out a workaround so that we could sell our reports beyond the little square that they give you when you do a free body graph chart on your website. So if you're curious about that, you're like, how did you do that? Send me a DM. But we figured that out. And so then we were able to build a proper offer page and market the fact that we can provide you your very own custom human design for marketing reading. It is over 40 pages. It covers all of the key components of human design that apply for your specific body graph and chart, and how to interpret those to apply to your marketing. It's so good. And so being able to go on this journey from, 18 months ago, it used to take me hours to pull this report together for every single reading I did. It's been a labor of love to get to this point where not only is the report automated for when I am delivering readings, but now we can sell it as a report that is delivered at the click of the button. Like, you can go into my website anytime, do your body graph, and there's a button below the chart to buy the report, or you can go to the show notes and you can get that for $67, which is epic value for the level of insight and the breakthroughs that it's going to lead to. And it comes with some bonuses as well to make sure you get the most out of it. Anyway, so these were our 2 new products. Off I went to India. Now, I did have a couple of emails set up to run while I was away to stoke the fire of these particular products. And then while I was away, I want to say I wrote 2 emails. So I didn't do 0 work. Well, I was actually away with my beautiful client, Trisha. So we had a full retreat day, which was all work. And outside of that, I probably spent 2 hours working out of my 2 weeks that I was away, and it was focused on sharing about these products. And what do you know? So the goal was $2,000 from these low ticket products coming in. As I arrived back in Sydney, I think I was at $2,100 or $2,200, which is actually laughable, right? That it was so close to 10 times, because we'd made $200 on that other break that I took. And it made me think, isn't manifestation crazy? Like, I could have said 5 times. I could have said 10 times. Sorry, 20 times. But I said exactly the amount that I manifested or brought through. So there's something in that as well, I think. But I knew you'd want to hear the update on that if you listened to the last episode. If you didn't, go back and listen to it, because it's a good one if you're somebody that wants to build a business that has some more passive style products to help you be able to scale your business when you're asleep. It's nice making money when you're asleep or when you're on holidays. All right. Now let's move on to the topic of this episode. I haven't done this one before, and it's a topic that, or a subject that comes up a lot in my frequency project container, and even with myself as I'm working with the transits and looking at my chart through the lens of the transits, or even just nerding out on the deeper aspects. And that is, what do each of the planets mean for you in your human design? And not just that, but what is the marketing implication? And so I'm going to have a go at giving you a marketing implication of every planet, as well as just a few other insights about how I would think about this planetary position when it comes to your business. So strap on in. This is going to be fun. Okay. So we're going to do them in order. So if you happen to have your body graph, you'll be able to see which gate you've got. And it's true for both sides. So the role is going to be the same, whether it's on the right-hand side, which is your personality side, or the left-hand side, which is your design side. But just know that the expression of it will be more conscious when it's on the personality side. So it will probably feel more resonant if it's on that side, but it's absolutely hard-coded into you if it's on the left, on the design side as well. So you can and should play with both, contemplate both. All right. So we start with the sun. Now, look, we talk about the sun all of the freaking time because it is 70% of the influence in your design and in your chart. That's how powerful the sun is. We are magically gifted to the universe through the power of the sun. It's dominant, right? And so that's why when we work with human design and marketing, your personality sun is the most important position on your entire chart. 100%, okay? It represents what you are here to share with the world. It's your outer expression. So it is very much aligned to your personal brand and how others receive your energy based on this. So this one is big in my work, and it's big in what you do as a human, how you project yourself out into the world. And so you probably know this one, but of course we have to start here because it is so important. Next is your Earth. So the Earth placement and planet is about what is meant to be grounding for you, or what is important for you to feel grounded and stable. Now, I would say for marketing that this is more about your internal ability to hold yourself through what can be a roller coaster ride in business and marketing. So it's very important for you to know what helps you feel grounded and stable, because from there you're a more powerful presence and you're able to show up and be visible with a lot more confidence. So this is my take on it for marketing. Hugely important. I have the 50 here, which is about values and principles. And I need to remember that I need to always be in integrity with my values and be in integrity with my principles for me to feel that solidity, is that a word, in myself that will increase my potency, as an example. Next up, we have the nodes. So in your chart, you're going to have a south node and a north node. And the way we're running through them, next one down is north, but I'm going to bring these together. So the south node is known as breathing in, kind of what you were bringing in with you into the world. It's the beginning of your life, what you were born with, like a level of this is embedded into you at birth. It's like consistency from past lives and coding. And then your north node is your breathing out, your journey towards in life. So this is where you're going to grow into. So skills, capability, gifts that you're going to grow into over the course of your life. Now, I actually work with these quite a lot because they form a beautiful narrative and a journey that you're on in your life, kind of where you come in from and where you're moving towards, right? So this is a big part of what I teach in the Frequency Project when we come to writing our brand story. There is a lot of insight and clues in here about this narrative of our life's journey and our life's work as well that can play a really important role in your story as you project that out into your marketing. So we've done Sun, Earth, North Node, South Node. Next is the Moon. This one is important because it is about what drives you. We spoke about this a lot in this round of the Frequency Project, that motivation is really important in marketing, because there are a lot of times when you're not going to want to do it. You're going to lack motivation, you're going to feel uninspired, or maybe go into fear around visibility. And so you do want to understand what drives you and what motivates you. That is the key to this placement in your chart. What drives you? What is going to get you up and keep you consistently moving forward, even when you're feeling challenged? Mine is the 55. I'm like, of course it is. Abundance of spirit, freedom. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like, I call myself the lit up and liberated entrepreneur. And what drives me is essentially freedom, liberation. Okay. Abundance of spirit is how it's defined in the human design language. Next one we work with a lot, of course, in human design for marketing is the Mercury placement. So Mercury, channel of communications, bit of an obvious one for marketing, but this is what you're here to communicate, but it's also your soul's message. I find that this particular placement is an of course. Of course, I already know, not that you know this, but you talk about this all the time, unconsciously. And then when you discover what is sitting in your Mercury, you're like, yeah, that is so me. One of my favorite topics, can't stop talking about this particular thing. So it's very ingrained, I find. We just had a call in the Frequency Project, I want to say it was last week, 7 or 8 days ago on this, and 100% of the people on the call were in this place of yes. This is a huge part of what I talk about. And now here's the permission for this to become a key pillar of your communication in your marketing as well. And something that you use repetitively, like part of your brand, this type of message. That's the Mercury placement. The next one is your Venus. Unsurprisingly, Venus is about relationships and love. And if you look at it a bit more deeply, it's about what you actually value when it comes to love and relationships. So this is an interesting one in that it's less, I would say, less of a leap towards marketing, but kind of not, because marketing is about building relationships. So what do you value in relationships? And this can help you understand what kind of relationships or what kind of people you want to support. So there might be some insights around audience, as well as the nature of your offers, or the way that you communicate that. Now, I had a chuckle, I'm going to be real with you, when I first discovered what I have sitting here, because it's the 36, which is friction. It's also inquiry. And I'll be honest and say my love life has been filled with friction. And I am a single woman who hasn't had a long-term relationship for, gosh, too long. I'm too embarrassed to share this with you. So it's funny. It's actually funny and amusing because I'm very accepting of being an independent woman, that I have the 36 here. But also potentially this shows up in that I work with people that are feeling friction in their marketing and want to improve that. So that's the way that I interpret it for marketing. All right, next. Talking about Venus, let's move on to Mars. Oh, Mars is a spicy one. Mars is spicy. So Mars is about what challenges you, particularly in the earlier part of your life, like through to your teenage years. So if you want to have a look at your Mars and look back in time, you might find some clues around why you're the way you are, what was kind of wounding for you in those younger years, and it could still be playing a role here. And if you're into the gene keys, you would know that the design Mars is a big part of Richard Rudd's prosperity sequence. We love the prosperity sequence. And it actually highlights your core wound. Now, this is interesting because when it comes to who we attract or who we connect with from an audience perspective, there's a lot of insight around our shadows, our darkness, and our wounds, because people are drawn to those things that we've healed in ourselves when they see them in themselves. So that's my marketing take on Mars. It's about our deeper shadows and challenges and what that can mean for understanding others who may be having those same challenges. And that's something we can work with in places like our messaging. All right, next is Jupiter. Everybody loves Jupiter because it is all about blessings, expansion. I'm going to use the word abundance again. It is the pinnacle of the prosperity sequence in Richard Rudd's work. It is where you receive blessings and rewards. So this is a really uplifting part of your design. And yeah, I want you to really take a good look at this, because it will give you more understanding of how you're going to thrive in your business. Like, what is it about you that you want to lean into, because it's a gift, it's a blessing. And the more you're in this energy, the greater your ability to attract what you want, which I know is growth. So have fun with your Jupiter placement. This is where I have the 34 in a couple of places, which is about, let's call it, I like to call it power over force. So letting go of the forcing of trying energy and really owning my power. Yes, that's like so rich, right? Okay, the next one is Saturn. This is a little bit reminiscent of Mars, but different energy, not so much about your younger years, but it is still about what you're here to be challenged with. And it's a little bit older, like, so if, and you know, when we talk about different returns, the Saturn return, it's like your late 20s. Your 20s is where this may have shown up for you, whereas Mars is a bit younger. So this is about challenge, it's about lessons, and it's about what shows up for you to grow through. So again, this could be a place to look for things that others are going to see in you that they relate to, because it's in them as well. And for you to be able to tell stories from that really highlight that transformation in your own life will be very attractive for those people in your audience as well. Next up, we have Uranus. This is where you get to fly your freak flag. Uranus is what makes us different, maybe a bit weird, like how we stand apart. And in a world where we are bombarded by marketing, we definitely want to understand our differentiation and share that as part of our marketing. So this is a great one for insight into what makes you different. I have, what have I got here? I've got the 48, which is the gate of depth. So aligned to me having a line 1 as well, because this really speaks to my decades of experience in marketing and years spent diving into human design and then becoming more of an expert in the marketing space within human design. So it's definitely part of my brand, and you can see it coming through in my Uranus. The next one is your Neptune. And this is a little bit looser when it comes to the marketing insight, because this is really about spirituality. It's a bit more elusive. Think about this one as a window into your spiritual connection, and it can be aligned to life purpose and work purpose as well. So from a business perspective, this could help you connect into the spiritual side of your business. And I know, because you're listening to this, that will make some sense to you. What is the spiritual side to your business? And then the last one on most of the body graphs you're going to look at is Pluto. This is also a more challenging position, like a less uplifting one. Pluto is about potential for truth, growth, and transformation. It also can highlight to you generational challenge or even trauma that you're having to grow through in this lifetime. So it may be another one, a little like we spoke to Mars and Saturn, that gives you some insight into the kinds of challenges that you go through in your life and you heal through that will be relevant to your audience. So that is it. There is one more placement. If you have downloaded your body graph on my website, it also shows you your Chiron. Now, this is a fun one, I reckon, as well. It's another one that is about wounding, and it's an older one. Think about when your Chiron return is. And it's No. If you do a bit of research into this one, it's like a little bit like Richard Rudd says about the design Mars. The Chiron is the wounded healer. So what is your greatest wound to heal in this lifetime? Have a look at this position on your bodygraph to see what shows up there. I hate what mine is. I hate to share it, but I will. It's the 21. It's all about resources and money. So my biggest wound to heal, that is generational, yeah, it is managing resources effectively. All the money trauma, right? And yeah, even though I have a very abundant, I really am in a very strong financial position, I will be honest and say this is not something that is easy for me. I struggle with scarcity. I go into overspending at times, like all of the trauma, all of the trauma. So yeah, another one that I'm like, of course. So that's it for this episode. I trust you've gotten a lot out of it. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thanks again for being here with me, whether it's your first time you've listened or you're a fan and you love it. Make sure if you do love it that you go and leave me a review. That's how we grow this podcast. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to be back in your ears again sometime soon. There are heaps more resources in the show notes. I can't wait to be back in your ears again soon. Bye for now.